Hi, this is Sean D'Souza, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation Podcast. This podcast isn't some magic trick about how to work less. Instead, it's about how to really enjoy the work that you do and to enjoy your vacation time. Yes, it's me, Sean, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation. When I went to school, I had two kinds of teachers. One that would automatically instill complete terror, and the other kind was just chaos. The first teacher would enter the room. She was young, she was inexperienced, and that level of inexperience led to complete chaos. Guys would duck under their desks, there would be chalk flying around the place, and it would take a lot to just get things back to normal. On the other hand, we had another teacher who was terrifying, and she added to this terror by wearing anklets that jingled as she walked around, which meant that as she walked down the corridor, and we had long corridors, you would hear the sound of approaching terror, and classroom after classroom would go quiet, almost like a Mexican wave, just absolutely quiet. So these were two kinds of perspectives that I grew up with when I went to school. And to me, both of them are excessive. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about the Mastermind Mindset. A mastermind group is kind of restrictive in nature. It is X number of people joining in online or offline. And yet a mastermind mindset can be used for membership sites, for groups, for workshops, for courses, which is why I think a mastermind mindset is more crucial. So let's talk about 3 points. The first is keeping the barbarians outside the gate. The second is having a very strong sense of identity. And finally, we'll talk about small groups. And we'll start out with keeping the barbarians outside the gate. If you get to the sales page of 5000 BC, which is the membership website, you'll notice something very strange. You can't sign up to 5000 BC right away. Well, you can, but then you have to wait for 21 days. There's like a holding pattern that you put into. You just have to wait for 21 days. And you think, why would anyone do that? Why would someone make you wait, not on a waiting list, not endlessly, but for 21 days specifically? And what it does is it filters out the people that are in a hurry. There are lots of people online who just want to get somewhere and press a button and then pay for something and then do nothing. You can't run a business that way. A business is patience. It's about doing little things consistently over time. And that's how we built 5000 BC. So it made perfect sense to keep the barbarians outside the gate. Those people who want instant success. Those people who are looking for that instant 6-figure whatever. Those people that want 10x growth and complete madness. They buy into stuff like this on the internet. And they think, oh, there must be a way to do this just by joining a membership site, and we want to keep those people out. And then just to make it a little more difficult, we charge $10 for the privilege of waiting for 21 days. Now, I thought this was pretty normal. I would do that if I wanted something that desperately. I would pay the $10. But a lot of people that look at it think, why would I pay to be on a waiting list for 21 days just to get in? And I get it. They don't see the value and they stay outside the gate. And that's kind of what you have to do to begin with. If you want to create a mastermind mindset, then you have to get in people that have the same kind of ethics and values. They don't have to agree with you all the time, but they have to have certain things that fit in with your model. Because otherwise you have too much chaos or too much of a dictatorship just to keep everything in place. And when you get this mastermind mindset in place, what you get is the same thing applying to a course, for instance. So if you look at all of our courses, there are multiple walls and barriers that prevent people from entering. It's not to encourage everyone, but to get a select few to join in, people who really want to get skills in article writing or cartooning or whatever. And they've got to fill in these forms, go through these little boxes that they have to check. And it sounds really ridiculous, but it's filtration. And filtration enables you to get the people that are the most interested, the people that are going to work the hardest, the people that are going to get results and help each other. And what you notice is that whether you're in a workshop live in Brussels or in Auckland or anywhere, you'll find that the filtration helps. So whether it's a course or a workshop or a webinar series or anything, the first thing you have to do is put up gates. You have to define who stays outside those gates and who comes into the gates. And why is it important that the people stay outside the gates? Because if you don't have that filtration system, then you have either chaos or too much terror. We don't need any of that. That's not a good environment for anyone to work with. And that brings us to the second point, which is to have a strong identity. When you get to 5000 BC, you'll notice that it says be kind, be helpful, or be gone. Now that is deeply soaked into people who join 5000 BC. But the moment you attend a workshop or a course, you'll notice that the identity flows right through. You'll find a massive amount of activity in 5000 BC in the forums, but you'll find that very small discussions, extremely small discussions, have been going on for weeks and months and sometimes years. And there is no name calling, there is no fight, there is no argument. There is pushback. From time to time, someone will say, I don't think you're going about this the right way. How about you think about this? Or they'll ask questions that enable you to think it through as well. So it's not just one way. There is pushback. But there is this underlying seam of kindness and helpfulness. And this is the identity that you've created. So it's a mastermind mindset because, again, it can go across to workshops and webinars and everything that you're doing. It doesn't have to be a membership site or a mastermind group that meets for coffee offline or online. It can go across and exist simultaneously in a workshop, in a group, in everything that you're conducting or intend to conduct. And having an identity can and should be more than just a slogan. It should be something that you live by on a consistent basis and you demonstrate that as a leader, and then what happens is then the group picks up on it and they all behave like leaders. It doesn't have to be this king that's sitting at the top and giving top-down orders. Instead, if you're a teacher, if you're a leader, what you're doing is creating more teachers and more leaders. And that creates that sense of we are in this together, we have an identity together. So we started out with keeping the barbarians outside the gate, then forging an identity for the people inside the gate. And finally, the most crucial of all is small groups. When I started out with our courses many years ago, I used to have groups of 25 people. And I thought that was really small. But one of the participants, Catherine, she's from Italy, she said, "This is too big for me. I'm an introvert. 25 people is just too much." So I asked her how many were enough, and she said, well, even 15 is a lot. We're now down to about 5 to 7 people in a group. And I think that's probably the way you want to go to keep that mastermind mindset in place. Too many people, and you can't really relate to all of their activity. Because when you look at too many people, if you just look at it from a mastermind group, well, you're really talking about 5 to 7 businesses that you're dealing with. And each business knows whatever they're doing really well, but nobody else seems to know it. And it takes a lot of time before you figure out what the other person is doing, where they're headed, what is their own mindset, and how you can help them. So the moment you go from 5 to 7 to, say, maybe 8 to 10 or 10 to 15, what you've inadvertently done is created chaos. And especially if you're hosting some webinars, or you've got courses, or you've got mastermind groups, for example, well, keeping it small is crucial. Even in 5000 BC, you'll find a question pops up, and then 2 or 3 people jump on that question, and that continues to go for quite a while, maybe a few days, a few weeks, and as I mentioned earlier, maybe even a few months. But it's this overlying concept of keeping people outside the gate. We're headed into a summary here, as you can tell. Keeping the people, the undesirable people, outside the gate. Then making sure that you have this very strong identity, and finally keeping that group small. And with a forum, it tends to automatically become smaller, but when you have a workshop or a course, you then have to physically split them up into 5 or 7 people. And that's kind of where you want to go if you want to create a mastermind group. Don't just look at masterminds as 5 or 7 people huddled together. Look at it across courses. Look at it across webinars. Look at it across all the applications that you could possibly use. And you will find that, first of all, it opens up doorways for you as a business owner. You now can have these multiple things going, and they're all helping each other. So think about it this way. You are the conductor of the orchestra. They all know what to do. They know how to help each other. But you are the one that gives them the direction. You create the identity. You create the cohesiveness. And then they play beautiful music. And that's what we want, don't we? So this brings us to the end of the podcast. It's a short one. I hope you like it. And let's find out what's happening in Psychotactics land. Now, Psychotactics is a marketing site, but one of the most awaited courses every year is the cartooning course. Just because of how many people achieve that level of being able to draw, having the confidence to draw, and getting this praise from their family and their friends. But it's so much of a confidence booster when you know that you can draw or you can write. And of course, this is about the cartooning course. And we open the doors on the 20th of June. Now, it doesn't start on the 20th of June. You're just being able to sign up on the 20th of June. To get on that course, you have to go to psychotactics.com/DaVinci. That's DAVINCI. You'll love this course. You'll enjoy drawing, even if you think, I can't draw a straight line, because, well, cartoonists don't draw straight lines anyway. So there goes that excuse. So psychotactics.com/DAVINCI. In mid-July, we're going to release a 6-part webinar series. It was all recorded, re-recorded. And this is the psychology of starting up. We'll have more details about that sooner than later. And if you'd like to be part of a group that is kind and helpful, then 5000 BC is the place for you. We have these long animated discussions, low key but still animated discussions on 5000 BC about how to grow your business, how to increase your prices, how to work with negotiating with someone. All of these different topics related to business and life, that all happens in 5000 BC. As you'd expect, you'd have to pay your $10. You'd have to wait for 21 days. But once you get in, you'll realize that it's a very cool place to be in. So we'll see you in 5000 BC, or we'll see you on a course. And I'll say bye for now. Bye-bye. still listening. One of the most puzzling and interesting moments that people have when they get to a course or when they do a workshop is how come everyone is so well suited to me as a person? It's almost like everybody got handpicked. And the funny thing is, it's true. People do get handpicked. So once people sign up for a course, Renuka will get into the whole scheme of things, and she will make sure that there is this sense of balance, which is to say that there is an evenness of men and women in the same group. Now, this is a small group, 5 to 7 people, but an even number of men and women, an even number of 5000 BC members and non-5000 BC members, an even number of people who've done a course and not done a course. And then all of this information that we have based on people who have done the courses, how quick they were to do assignments, how slow they were to do assignments, all of this, like some huge computer program, is going on in Renuka's brain. And she puts people in those groups accordingly. So it's not random. And the reason why you have such a great time and get along with the group is because you have these different characters with different personalities and different mindsets all in that group. And yeah, it's not magic. It is a filtration system that enables things to happen that way. And it's the same thing for the workshops, and less so for 5000 BC because that's a little more organic, but still there is a gate outside and all the barbarians are outside. And over the last 17 years of 5000 BC running, we've only had to throw out one person. So those gates are pretty good. I'll say bye for now. Bye-bye.